What's up again, YouTube? Brian here at 3TR, and I got another episode for you of the People's Questions. Now, I actually got a couple interesting ones this time, so let's jump right into it. Archangel95 wants to know, what are my greatest fears? I could probably say that I have two main fears. One that I'm only afraid of if, I don't see it coming, and one that I will probably always be afraid of. And the first one is bugs. Yeah, I know, yeah, I'm legitimately afraid of bugs, but I guess I can kind of somewhat control that fear if I see like a bug like coming. Like, I don't know, if I'm walking down a hall and I just so happen to see it on the wall or crawling, I won't get so afraid of it. But if it's like right behind me and I turn around and I just see it right there, I might jump a little bit. So yeah, I can thank my older sibling for giving me that fear when I was a lot smaller. And my second fear that I will probably always be afraid of, even though I've done it multiple times, is flying. Now, I know that people fly every single day, but the idea of just having a plane go down just is constantly on my mind. I mean, I've been on a plane at least, I don't know, like 7 times in my lifetime, and I was afraid every single time, and I'm sure I'll have to go on an airplane multiple times in the future, but I'll definitely be afraid every single time. I'm sure there are many of you out there who also fear flying too, so you can understand, you can understand it. Angry Bear 12K wants to know, what type of career do I want? I think, if you'd asked me this question, I don't know, 2 years ago, I definitely would say something in game design. That's really what I went to college for. But in that time, I've kind of realized that, I don't know, perhaps going into game design and making games isn't quite as exciting as I'd like it to be, because the idea of it is, once you make the game, you can never really quite enjoy it as much as someone who's never played it. Like, I don't know, I'm sure, like, for the people who made God of War at Santa Monica Studios, although they made God of War 3, and I'm sure they had a lot of fun, I'm pretty sure they might not have enjoyed it playing as much as I did for the first time, simply because they know exactly what's going to happen in the game, and everything. So once you know a game's secrets and you've made it, I just don't think someone can really enjoy the final product as much. Maybe, I think that's why games are kind of for the gamers and not really for the developers. But that's just my personal view. But really, I'd like to do something that involves the gaming world, but I don't know, something like work for a magazine, like, I don't know, Game Informer or Game Pro, or heck, my dream magazine would be working for a PlayStation magazine, because that is my main console after all. So yeah, if I could get a job working with them, that would be just a dream come true. So in terms of a career, yeah, just anything involving in the gaming career, or yeah. And the last question I have is from ZombieFan2000, and they want to know, how do I feel about the state of the Resident Evil franchise? Okay, so I'm going to separate this into 2 parts, because when we talk about franchise, you're talking about the games, and you're talking about the movies. So I'll start off with the movies. Personally, when it comes to the movies, I'm really just getting sick and tired of them, because I mean, I can understand how fans feel about the newer Resident Evils, but these movies are just far worse. Now, I'm not ashamed to say that I actually enjoyed the first one very much, simply for the fact that I thought it would be another story of the Resident Evil franchise, just taking place in another universe, and I liked that idea, that it has absolutely no ties to the games. If they had just stuck with that, I wouldn't be so upset. But as many of us know, over the course of these next 4 films, or the 5th one's coming out later this year, that they have a knack of taking our beloved characters and our beloved story and forcing the character Alice. Now, I personally don't have any personal problem with Alice at the beginning, but the problem is that she's like Lara Croft. She's just too invincible. You don't believe at any point that she's in any real danger. And that's really my biggest problem, is the idea of suspense. And really how they even use some of the creatures and zombies of the Resident Evil franchise. They'll just throw shit in from the games without explaining why it's even there. I mean, don't get me wrong, the games, you know, vaguely explain where they came from in the game, but the movies don't explain it at all. They're just like, oh, that was cool and that was in the game. Let's just throw it in there for no reason. I don't know why they do that, but they really need to stop. This franchise for the movies should have been rebooted years ago. If you want to make a Resident Evil movie, make a Resident Evil movie for the fans. Have our traditional characters. Bring Chris, bring Leon, bring Jill. Heck, even bring Sheva. I really like Sheva too in 5. So yeah, that's really how I feel towards the movies. When it comes towards the games, however, you might be shocked to find this out, but I actually liked 4 and 5, and I'm definitely looking forward to 6. For those of you old school Resident Evil fans out there, I'm really sorry, but I cannot play those older games. I definitely did try them, but I'm just kind of so used to kind of it being much more action orientated. I mean, not in terms of like just overall action. I would like some horror put into it, and I guess the best version of that would be 4, which gave you really good controls, and it was kind of a horror aspect because you were always alone, as opposed to the old ones where how those games worked was it gives you terrible controls and a very bad situation, and that's supposed to enhance the experience. Well, that didn't enhance it for me. That just made it frustrating, and I literally could not I couldn't get through an hour of those games. I was just so pissed off, especially in Resident Evils 2 and 3. Now, I'm sure some of you out there may not call me a true Resident Evil fan, but I am a Resident Evil fan, and that's just my personal feelings. And I'm looking at this at 6, and if they really want to keep going the direction of making it more action-orientated, I'm cool with that, because, you know, I do honestly believe that action sells more than horror, since really there isn't a single game or movie franchise out there that's ever legitimately scared me. And yes, that is a challenge. If you want to comment down below and tell me a movie or a game that you think will scare me, I'll definitely try out, but chances are it's not going to work. And really, I support their decision. I mean, you know, Capcom's getting a lot of hate, you know, from, you know, Marvel vs. Capcom, and, you know, on games I don't play. But if they really want to go back to horror aspect, I think they should follow the developers of Dead Space, because Dead Space 2 and 1 really are doing precisely what Resident Evil 5 tried to do, but really badly failed. Don't get me wrong, 5 was still a really good game, but it just... The promotion, if you guys remember back then, was just really misleading when they were saying it was fear you can't forget, and it just didn't work. If they had said action you can't forget, you know, then that'd be very believable. And with that, I'm going to end it right there. If you like this video, please like and comment down below, and please subscribe up top to keep track of me. And I will be sure to get to your questions in my next episode of the People's Questions. Keep track of my movie and game reviews for this time on, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.